So the Oscars are still messing with my movie schedule. My mom and my sister both saw this movie before I did. What the fuck? I guess that might explain why it was an empty movie theater. Hostiles. Rapid fire review. The plot. In the year 1892, not 1992, 1892. Christian Bale plays a captain for the U.S. Army in New Mexico. He's assigned with the task of escorting an old Indian chief back home to his native land, and he's not fucking happy about it. From there on out, it's a pretty standard Western road trip. You've got point A to point B, and shit happens along the way. And shit gets sad. Christian Bale! He's been a soldier for the U.S. Army for over 20 years. He's slaughtered tons of Indians, and no one lets him forget it. He's the type of character that knows he's done bad things, but just says that it was his job. But you know that it just haunts him and eats him up inside. And he does a great job at showing that. I thought this was another home run for Christian Bale. He's this weathered soldier that's a tough motherfucker, but he has these small moments throughout the movie that are emotional, and it really humanizes him. And his mustache? Real nice. Wes Studi. He plays the Indian chief that's being escorted home. He's this old Indian chief that also has this brutal, violent past. But he served 7 years in Wild West jail, and the US government has granted his freedom. This character is very quiet and very subdued, but even with that, his acting is fantastic. You can tell he was this badass, and he still is a badass, but he doesn't have to flex on anyone to show it off. His presence just demands respect. Rosamund Pike. As far as I'm concerned, this movie is her movie. She faces this tragedy early on in the movie, and then Christian Bale's group crosses her path, and she joins him for the trip. Now, her character deals with some depressing shit, and her acting was honest and realistic and totally believable. She was sad, she was angry, she was awesome. Overall, this is a heavy movie. The first scene is intense and brutal and sad, and that sets the tone throughout the whole movie. That being said, it's a very good movie. There's these big wide angle shots that just look amazing. I'm sitting back like, oh, it's good. Looks really good. The acting was superb. It's not a huge script, there's not a lot of dialogue, but it's very effective when you've got that caliber of acting. It is, however, long. It takes its time, and it is sad. From that first scene, you're like, oh, that does not get relieved until the credits roll. I probably won't ever see this movie again, but it's very good, and it's definitely worth seeing at least one time. It's great, but sad. Rapid fire review. Subscribe!